How you guys doing? You all right? I've really been struggling to do this live stream today. I've said it before on live streams. I much prefer coaching people in person, and I think that's a good thing for me. And because I've been doing um, quite a lot more one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and I've been doing these events, um, which has been challenging but really rewarding because I really enjoy it. It almost makes it quite hard for me to motivate myself to do these live streams. I mean this respectfully because it almost feels too easy. It's not really a challenge and it's not as enjoyable for me to do these live streams because I'm emotionally comparing it to the feeling and the joy and the adrenaline and all the kind of emotions that I experience when I do public talks and events and I coach people in person. But I do the best I can to think, well, I'll put my own selfish feelings aside and realize that these streams help a lot of people. They give a lot of people hope, confidence. Um, I'm pretty certain, and I've received emails throughout the years of people saying that my videos have played a part in them stopping them thinking suicidal in that sort of way, depression. It's helped people to get results in all kind of different ways, and that's important to me. So I'm not saying that I don't enjoy doing live streams completely because that wouldn't be true, wouldn't be accurate. Because there's times I have a great time with you guys, and I feel appreciated that you guys appreciate my honesty, my experience, the coaching, the conversation. So that means a lot. But yeah, I have to get it off my chest. It makes me feel better. It's actually one of the exercises um, that I give to clients sometimes when they need to get things off their chest because people are usually reluctant to get things off their chest. They're quite scared of how people are going to react or if they're going to be judged, especially when it's expressing, for men emotions. But I always think it's a real strength. I respect anyone who does it, myself included. Um, so with that being said, I pushed myself today to press the live button. So I thought I'd talk about something similar but a little bit different today because I've been doing a lot of talks lately on the main subject. I know sometimes people get bored of it because they say, oh, you talk about social anxiety a lot, but then my answer to that is, well, my whole business pretty much revolves around social anxiety and it's something that I struggled with myself. So I'm very passionate about it and, I get paid to do a job that I love, which is challenging, and that's for the most part. Most of my clients have got very bad social anxiety, and they want to improve it. They want to either overcome it or make progress and build their confidence. So that's why I talk about it a lot. It needs to be spoken about a lot for people that want to improve it. Right? It's a bit like when I go on other YouTube channels and I've got a problem or I want to learn something. Let me like during the lockdown period, I really wanted to learn about cameras and how to shoot a good quality video, right? Because I used to always pay cameramen and they would do it for me. But this time I thought, I want to do it on my own. I want to learn how to do this. So I'd go on these channels. These people were amazing. They were experts. And most of the videos would be about the same subject. But because I was so interested to learn about it, it didn't bother me that they kept kind of repeating the subject because there was so much to learn within that subject. So it's no different with social anxiety for those people that get a bit fed up when I do many videos or they say, "Oh, the titles are the same." It's like because there's so much to talk about. I can't cover it in one video. I can't even cover it in 10 years. There's loads that goes into it, and it's something that I'm passionate about. But I try and mix it up. Anyway, so um, following the last couple of streams I've done, this talk is about 10 ways that you can reduce your social anxiety when talking to women. And I've wrote here one way is to lose weight and get in shape. And I'm really I don't know what recently lately I've been a bit reluctant to talk about that and a couple of voices in my head because it's not, because I'm not a personal trainer, I'm not a dietitian. It's not my area of expertise. But then I've realized I can talk about it because I've lost weight and got in shape. So I can speak on something that I've personally achieved and done, and then share it and explain how that applies to building more confidence, along with many other things, if that makes sense. So I personally I like to incorporate different things, a bit like Bruce Lee. And then, there's many other people, but Bruce Lee was an inspiration to me growing up. What Bruce Lee done was he took the best things in each and every system or style, and he kind of put it together and made it his own, which I really like. And that's just something that whether I got, I'm sure Bruce Lee did inspire me, but it's my own decision, my own way of living. So I like to look at a problem and go, right, social anxiety is a problem for many people. It was a problem for me, and it has been at times. What can I do to help people to solve this problem? As a teacher who's got almost 11 years experience, and as someone who has suffered with it himself and made massive progress, overcome it, relapsed of it, overcome it again. So there's lots of things that I did. And one of the things that really helped me at the start of my journey with building courage and confidence, and as David Goggins talks about, callousing the mind, building mental toughness, was training and dieting and getting in shape. When I was in my early 20s, I was painfully shy with women, painfully shy and awkward and nervous and insecure, and afraid to talk to them and afraid to ask them out because I had such a terrifying fear of being rejected. And I think, yes, the deep origin of my fear was obviously rejection and abandonment, as it is for everyone. But on the surface, I was really frightened of getting awkward in front of them, really, really worried about displaying nervousness, because I did that when I was younger and it made me feel terrible. And I was always afraid of um, reliving that experience and it repeating. So going down to the weightlifting gym and training amongst other people, because the gym I went to at the time was a mixed gym with men and women, mo- probably more men in the gym. It helped me to gain confidence. First of all, just kind of getting around people, because obviously I had social anxiety with men and women, but more so, I guess, with women, being that women um, is what I'm attracted to in a romantic way. So training and getting in shape and putting on some muscle and dieting does give you confidence. There's no question of a doubt. It gave me confidence. Now, I'm not saying that if you get in shape and then you get a six pack, or you just put on some muscle, that's going to solve all your anxiety issues of women, because the likelihood is it's not. There's more work that needs to be done, but it's definitely going to help. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about 10 ways that you can reduce your social anxiety. And for me, exercising is one and dieting is two. So that's already two, and I've got a lot more. So, what I want to explain, which is a distinction between a lot of the understanding. By the way, guys, any questions you've got, just put them in the chat, and I will look at them and read them as I'm talking. A lot of coffee today, maybe you can tell, and I had a good meal. So back to what I was saying. Now, there's going to be different viewpoints here, and I welcome people's opinions. Um, but I'm going to teach what I believe, what I know works, what I know was true. So some guys are going to be under the sort of thinking and mindset that, oh, so it's about impressing women, getting a six pack, putting on a lot of muscle, taking your shirt off, walking down the road. I'm not really coming from that place, although there's some truth in that. I'm coming more from a place of like developing healthy self-esteem, feeling good about who you are. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna go gym so I get really muscly and a six pack, and I want to impress women. I'm kind of looking at it from more of a mature standpoint, more like, well, I'm going to do this for me because I want to feel good about who I am as a person. I want to increase my self-esteem, my sense of self-worth. Um, so I'm talking more about, well, let me get straight to it. Mental health, because mental health is connected to all of this: social anxiety, confidence, self-esteem, confidence of women, relationship building, all these things. I've learned this. I'm still learning it now. It never stops. So it's like when you're fit, generally, I know there's some exceptions, but generally, when you're fit and you're healthy and you're dieting and you're happy with your body and you feel good in yourself, it's half the battle won. It's half the battle won with regards to feeling confident around not just women, but people in general. But as we're specifically today talking about, helping guys to improve confidence of women, because it's all psychological, of course. So again, I don't want to confuse everyone. I'm not coming from the standpoint, which is the obvious narrative that we kind of were taught when we were growing up, that, oh, it's just about going down the gym, getting a six pack, getting muscles just to impress women. I'm not coming from that angle. I hope that guys, not that there's anything, it's not entirely wrong, but it's a better level, I think, of integrity. It's more of a healthy self-esteem where you're getting in shape because personally I love training. So I do it for me, and I've really come to enjoy eating healthy and feeling good about myself and being in shape and liking what you see in the mirror. And when you feel good and you're confident, it makes it a lot easier to then feel good about talking to a woman. Does that make sense? So it's a relationship, it's a connection. Hence why it's one of the ways that I know works with reducing social anxiety. I'm not saying that it's going to take away all your social anxiety. That's a bit naive. No, but it's going to reduce it. And we're looking at progress. And I made a note here. I wrote this today in the coffee shop. It's important. I want to read this for a second. It will help a lot of you. It also helps me to understand and break down what I'm teaching, what's working. Chris says, Johnny, I'm not afraid to talk to women, but I'm alone on weekends. Sometimes I go out by myself. In San Diego here, there's a lot of women, 75% men, 25% women. Man Diego, they call it. Oh, is it? I never heard of that. Oh, that's great. That's great, Chris. How long have you been following the channel? Is this the first time? I think it's the first time I've spoke to you. Unless I've spoke to you before, apologies, because there's a lot of people. Usually I remember names, but if you are new, appreciate the support. You started a wine meetup and Pedros Baseball. That's amazing, man. I'm well pleased that you've done that. Great, good for you. Was that off the back of watching some of my videos? Because that's some of the advice that I give people, um, with regards to improving confidence, is to go to meetups and even creating your own. So, and even if you did that off your own accord, well done. That's brilliant. That's good advice for anyone on this channel who wants to improve. Right. Okay. So progress. Okay, where is it? I made a note of this. I spent about 2 hours today, guys, in a coffee shop, making loads of notes on how to overcome social anxiety, different things that I learned. Really good stuff. Okay, so um, yeah, progress is generally what makes people happy. Today we're talking to men. When my clients are making progress, they're happy. How does it look like when clients make progress, or anybody? Well, progress is all about you becoming more confident at speaking to people. Today, we're talking about speaking to women. Also, you know that when you're making progress because your entire outlook starts to change on yourself, on other people, and life. The more, yeah, the more confident you become, the more progress you make. You become more courageous, more social, more stronger, more honest in your communication. So if a person is socially awkward with women in social interactions, they can apply, what I teach, which is a confidence coaching mindset or a fearless mindset, where you learn how to turn fear into excitement. So I went a bit over there, but basically, um, my point being that to change the way that you think and the way that you behave socially can be really helpful through physical fitness and training and diet. There's no question of a doubt, because as I said, it comes down to feeling good. I appreciate that, Chris, man. Thanks. And I think it's brilliant what you've done that you started a meetup. I know how much courage that takes because I run my own meetup and I've got two of my clients that are doing my 1 year social anxiety program. They've also started meetups in their business. I told them to do it. I encouraged them. So that's brilliant, man. Um, Hopefully, more people on the channel will get motivated. So, to anyone listening, if you don't know what I'm talking about, what Chris has done, one of the things I encourage people to do on this channel who have got anxiety or who want to build more confidence in life, I encourage them to go to meetups wherever you live in your area, meetups that are in person. I'm not just talking about on a live stream. It's okay on the live stream, but it's not as good as in person. So to go to a meetup in your area, a social group of whatever you're interested in, so you can talk to people in person, gain more confidence, reduce social anxiety. And I also encourage people to run their own meetup. You can do it if you've got a business. It's also a great way of getting clients, giving value, or you can just do it because you want to give back or you want to. I've known people who they have anxiety, they have social anxiety, but they run groups to help other people and also helps them. So however you do it, just find a way to do it. It really gives you so much confidence. Actually, so connecting on 10 things that any guy can do to reduce anxiety with women, go to meetup groups. Again, it has that effect. Look, I'll connect it. So let's say one of my clients that I get them to regularly go gym 3 times a week, they're training, they're improving their diet. The training and the dieting is giving them confidence, making them feel better about themselves, giving them a better sense of identity and self-esteem. They're also, let's say they go into meetup groups and they're socializing with other people, men and women, or maybe if it's the same sex, whatever, you're getting that confidence, you're getting that exposure, you're getting that connection. So all of this, you know, transfers onto women when you're talking to them and how you feel. Because most of this is about the way that you feel. A lot of the times, guys don't get success in their relationships with women, or they don't get a date, or they don't get past the anxiety of being able to talk to a woman because they don't feel good about themselves. They don't feel good enough, or they feel depressed, or they feel so scared of starting a conversation in case they run out of things to say, or in case they get socially awkward, or in case a girl rejects them, or in case a girl doesn't like them, or in case a girl says, "Look, I'm not interested, I've got a boyfriend," or in case she thinks you're weird, whatever the case may be. So I've already covered 3 things you can do. So number one is physical exercise. I'll talk more about that on channel, and I've got loads of clips online of me training. Second one is dieting, and the third one is going to social meetups. These 3 things, no question of a doubt, will help you to reduce your social anxiety when you're talking to women in any situation. That could be when you're on a first date, that could be in a coffee shop, that could be at an event. It doesn't really matter what situation it is. It doesn't matter where it is. It could be on the phone, could be online dating, could be you starting a conversation with a girl for the first time in public, wherever it may be, or at a party, an event, in the gym. You're going to have more confidence because I would say, I mean, most of social anxiety originates from trauma from childhood, but we won't go that deep today. Not necessary. Most of social anxiety comes from in the moment feeling insecure, feeling that, and a lot of that comes from you not being accountable in your life, not taking action. So for everything that you're not doing, going to show up in a way of anxiety. Example, so if you're not going gym regularly, let's say for example, worst case scenario, a guy doesn't exercise at all. Remember I said to you guys, I got an email a couple of days ago from a concerned mother about her son. She wrote to me and said that her son is 22. She's really worried about him. He hasn't been diagnosed with anxiety, but she thinks he's socially awkward because he's never had a girlfriend, right? Which I don't think is the worst thing at 22. It's still young, but I see her point. He doesn't go out of the house much. He doesn't work. He just plays video games. She's tried to speak to him. She can't get through to him. She's worried about him. So she found my work online and asked me, could I help? So I gave her some advice for him. And the reason why he's going through these struggles, obviously, because it's everything that he's not doing. So let's say that I could speak to this guy. He was open, right? Because you can't force anyone, and he did my coaching. One of the first things I would do, if he gave me permission, is I would really just look at his life and say, well, what could you be doing that you're not doing that would give you confidence? Well, you're not going to the gym. We need to change that. You've got to start exercising, because exercising is going to give you confidence, make you feel better. So that's number one. And if you start exercising and you feel better, then of course you can have a bit more confidence, and you're going to have that feel good factor when you're talking to women, or you're talking to any woman, or a particular woman that you like, you're attracted to. It's going to carry on. You know, I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but everything we do in our life affects the next moment or the next conversation. So for example, I feel good today doing this live stream talking to you guys, because the habits that I did today, I got up early. Actually, that's not true. That's not true. I got up a bit later because I had a lie-in, because I was working hard the day before with a client. So I had a bit of a lie-in, and that made me feel better and recover. I did my washing today. I cooked a healthy meal. I spoke to a couple of friends on a video chat, my brother. So those things made me feel good about coming on today. So it's like a snowball effect, back to what I was saying. So this gentleman, his mother, for example, and I get lots of messages like this, who's worried about her son because he's not coming out of the house much, and obviously he's struggling with his confidence, and he has obviously got bad anxiety, which his mum has said. He's a bit socially awkward. He's not very social at the moment. He's obviously depressed. He's going through stuff. So, you know, if he went to the gym regularly, trained, if he ate healthier, immediately it's going to raise his self-esteem. It's going to lessen his anxiety. Next one would be to come to a social event, which I told his mum, welcome to come to my free event. If he could come to a social meetup, get around like-minded men or people, men and women, at a group where he could interact and have some conversations, it's going to improve his confidence, because of course he's getting out of the house, he's getting off the video games, which obviously is an addiction to deal with the pain of not socializing and not feeling good. So now we look at one of the things his mum was concerned about, that he's never had a girlfriend, he's 22. The things that I would get him to do, if he was open to doing it, they would put him in a better position to increase his chances of getting a girlfriend. Why? To explain to someone who doesn't understand. Because he's going gym regularly, he's eating healthy, he's socializing, he's changed his lifestyle. His psychology, his mental health has improved. So now he's in a better place mentally, emotionally. Yes, he's still going to have to overcome his fear of talking to a girl and asking her out, but he's going to be in a better place mentally and emotionally. Therefore, when you're in a better place mentally and emotionally, you project confidence onto women or the person that you're talking to, right? We're not generalizing, but it's a fact. We're talking about issues with dating and relationships and men. So because you're projecting positive energy and you're controlling your social awkwardness and anxieties and fears of not knowing what to say and going quiet and not being social, because you're performing better, your chances of success are so much more higher. So that really, I've summarized how this works. So moving on to some other things there, because I've covered around 3 or 4 things that anyone can do already. On a deeper level, and I like to go deep, and I talk about this a lot, and it's important. I've learned this in my own life. Having a purpose in life is important for men, for themselves, or having a clear goal, because goal setting has been around for years. I haven't got the chance yet. Maybe some of you can do this, but I'm going to do some research as to when goal setting was invented, but I know it's been around a long time, and I know goal setting changed my life, and it's changed many of my clients' lives. And all the old school guys, Les Brown, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, all these old school guys they all teach and talk about goal setting because it works. Setting goals and achieving them is not only good for mental health and focus and reducing anxiety, it builds self-esteem, obviously, especially when you achieve goals. So one of the ways in which any guy can reduce his social anxiety with women and dating and attracting the right relationship, or a girlfriend, a date, a fiance, whatever it is that you desire, is to have a goal in life, is to set a goal. And obviously that goal has to be personal to you. It doesn't matter what other people think. So goal setting is really, really important, or having a purpose, a vision. Now, if some of you want an example of that, I can give you one. Setting a goal to build a successful business. That was my goal starting out. It wasn't all my goals, it was one of them. A lot of my clients, I've always had a passion for teaching and coaching and speaking. So when I set that goal about 11 years ago, at the time, I didn't have a girlfriend either. And I was battling with many anxieties and demons and fears. But because I set a goal to build a successful business, make a positive impact, help people who had anxiety like myself, it it attracted me a great girlfriend in my late 20s, who was a wonderful partner at the time, amazing. And I don't think I would have attracted her at the time if I hadn't have been doing the things that I'm encouraging you guys to do today, like gym. And I was doing a lot of these things at the time. I was, even before I was going to meetups, I was working on myself. I was feeling good about myself. I improved my fashion. So when I was talking to her, obviously at the time, I didn't know it was going to end up being, falling in love, and we were going to become together. But I felt confident at the time. I felt good, and that came across. And I'm going to throw this in as well. And, because I know a lot of guys worry about how they look. I say it's not always about your physical looks, it's about how you feel and being confident. But I will say this, a bit of maybe a contradiction, but truth in it 100%. For a lot of guys, I actually had a guy at one of my events the other day, at one of my free meetups. We were talking about anxieties, and he said one of his anxieties is that he feels ugly at times around people, especially women. So if you work on your confidence and you start feeling more confident, surprisingly, even for a guy who thinks he's physically not attractive, right? That's his opinion. You will become more attractive to women anyway because of the confidence on the inside, if that makes sense. Because when I met my girlfriend at the time, she told me that when she first met me, she wasn't attracted to me physically. I wasn't her type on paper, but she said she grew to fall in love with me based on personality, sense of humor, and how I made her feel. So it's great to get this honest feedback because it kind of puts into perspective and proves my point, which is, building confidence, reducing social anxiety by doing positive habits, changing your lifestyle, i.e., the gym, dieting, going to social meetup groups, working on honest communication, adding value to others, having a goal in life, starting a business or improving your career. So there's already many things that you can do, like I said, and they're pretty straightforward. Now, obviously, they're going to take courage, it's going to take discipline, it's going to take commitment. But if you want to be happy and successful, then you're going to have to put time and energy and commitment and discipline. Otherwise, you're not going to see any changes. Just reading your comment there, Chris. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people can relate to that, working from home. A lot of people have that today. And there's times when I work at home as well. And you can get isolated, which is why it's good what you do to go to meetup groups, mix it up. Now, giving you a tip on the communication side, which a lot of guys struggle with, I've helped so many clients with this. Now, this challenges a lot of people until they actually get more courage with it. What will actually help you to reduce most social anxiety when you're talking to women is honest communication, which guys struggle with at times, not because they're bad guys, but because they're so afraid and nervous. So, within being honest with women, it's important, obviously, to be respectful, but you can still express yourself and be confident and be a man and tell the truth. Say how you feel. If you like a woman, tell her. Sort of show your personality. Don't cage up and hide up and talk about things that you don't really mean, and you're not being honest. So the more honest you are, the less anxiety. And an example of that is kind of what I'm doing now. It's just being honest, being open hearted. So there's a lot of respect in it, but we derive so much of our self esteem and how we feel and how we make others feel based on how we communicate. And if we're not communicating honestly, then you're not going to feel good. You're going to feel anxious. You're going to feel tight and stuck. You're not going to like yourself. So it's almost like a two-way relationship. You get the balance right of respecting other people when you talk to them, but you have to stop caring what they think so much and be who you are, be yourself. And that will take care of a lot of the anxiety. But obviously, that takes time. You've got to work on that. It's the same as going to the gym and building a muscle. You might know the right exercise to build your biceps, but it's not gonna happen in one gym session, is it? It's gonna take time. It might take a couple of months on the right program and eating, but you'll get there in the end. So the same with building the communication with women, the honesty, or with people in general. And from the years I've been learning, that's one of the biggest complaints that women would always have with men, that men don't communicate their feelings enough or they don't listen. So when you improve that, and as I said, most of this I learned from women, from doing things wrong, getting the wrong advice. And then you come to a point where it's such a relief when you're just more vulnerable and more honest. And then there's no surprise when your connections get better. Sometimes that even means accepting the consequences of being rejected. But listen, I'd rather be rejected and for being who I am and being honest than be accepted for not being myself and lying, or using tactics or talking jargon. What's the point? It's only going to traumatize you later on. So that's really important. That will reduce a lot of anxiety. And I've learned this from both men and women, smart people, and my own experiences. So work on your communication. You know, don't be afraid to show your feelings. And sometimes that includes calling out the nerves and saying, I'm a little bit nervous to talk to you, but here you go. I mean, that's the best that you can do until you get more confident and you can control your nerves and speak clearly without stuttering, stammering, freezing up, and getting too much in your head. But funny enough, the more you socialize, the more you exercise, the more you diet, the less anxious you become, the less stuck in your head you'll be because of that whole, rejuvenated, calm, confident, relaxed, positive feeling that you get of having being in a good state. So the more you socialize, the better you get. Another thing that can increase confidence, definitely, right? It's not like, actually, it is important. Sometimes I'm reluctant to put it too high on my list of confident building things you can do, and reduction on anxiety and social. But fashion is important. How you dressing smart, taking care of your grooming, and little things that I've done over the years that help me is, haircut, beard trim, and just being more conscientious of how I dress. But I like dressing smart, wearing a shirt, jeans, or if I'm going to dress, whatever your style is, casual suits, just look smart. Make sure it's clean, it fits your body shape, it kind of represents your personality, and again, it makes you feel good. And you're not doing it to impress women or other people. You're doing it because you feel good in it. But consequently, it's almost like the less you try and impress women and impress other people, the more you work on making yourself happy and developing yourself. People get impressed as a consequence. And it's kind of an irony. The more you seek approval from other people in an unhealthy way, the less you're going to get it, especially with, men over seeking approval from women. But the more you stop seeking approval on the outside and the more you work internally, which also that does have a connection with going out externally and socializing and challenging yourself more, the more validation you get as a result. People are very complicated, as you realize, men and women. Fascinating. The more you expect, the less you get, and the less you expect, the more you get. But the more confidence you gain, you know, you look. These are truths. The more confident you are, generally, the more people respect you and like you more. Of course, you're going to get some people that are not going to like you because they're jealous, and that's just a rule of thumb for life. But generally, you know, the more confident a guy is, the more definitely the more chance he's going to be more attractive to women. He's going to improve his success, especially with having confidence. So yeah, you know, practicing talking to women, talking to people in general, going to the gym, exercising, improving your diet, improving your fashion. Actually, listen to this. When you let's just say that we're just painting a picture of any human being, right? How does this person sound to you? A guy who works out regularly, has a good diet, goes to social events, does speaking, lives his purpose in his life, has a goal, has good fashion. It already paints a picture of a confident man, a confident person. It's already attractive, regardless of age or his background or his creed or his class, just the way he's living his life. So it's kind of a no-brainer, but obviously it's easy to know these things logically and write them down, and me to tell you or go online and you'll hear so many relationship coaches or teachers saying these things, men and women, but to actually do it takes a lot of courage. And that's where I'm going to say the next part of reducing social anxiety with women, people, and confidence is get a mentor. There's no question of a doubt. um, if you are working with me and do one of my programs and you're committed and you've got the right attitude, you're gonna gain more confidence from my coaching. I've done it with thousands of clients around the world consistently, because having a mentor gives you that mental and emotional support. It helps you to be accountable, to be disciplined, and the experience. You can't buy the experience that I have on Amazon or eBay. You can't go into Tesco's and say, "Can I just buy a box of experience?" Now, experience has to be earned and lived, and I've lived and earned the experience that I've got, which is why it's changing for anybody that's open to learning, listening, and applying it. And then you getting your own experience, which is even more valuable. So get a mentor, get a teacher. If you can invest in a program, it will give you more confidence. It will lessen your social anxiety with women. If you want to inquire about how you can apply for my coaching, send me an email. My email address is below all my videos. So getting a mentor is really important. Subscribing to my channel, working with someone that can help you, hold you accountable to your goals. And it's also a massive benefit that my clients get is the dialogue, is the conversation, being able to get things out that are bothering them and come up with a strategy and a solution to their problems. The therapy of sitting down with a teacher that's present, like myself, who cares, who's genuine, who understands, who's also had anxiety myself, and can listen to you, properly listen, not like how most people listen, where they're not really listening, they're not really caring. They're thinking about what they want to do, what they want to say, and they're interrupting. Someone who can sit and really carefully listen to you, be present, and then give you the solution or just guide you and help you towards the right solution. It's life changing. I see it every week. My clients they tell me, man, the confidence I'm getting from the sessions, from going for coffee, sitting down, being able to talk to you, being able to get things out, not feeling judged, going away, working on these different anxieties and issues. Proofs in the pudding. It really does work. So communication is really important. So I think we've covered around 7 things. Now, the next one, I must make a point of saying this, I always forget, it's probably the most important, and it can be overcomplicated, is help other people. And you don't have to be a life coach to do that. You ain't got to be a confidence coach or a dating coach or a business coach. Just find ways whenever you can of just being a good person, being kind to other people. The more you do that, the more it builds you up, the less anxiety you're going to have. You know, because when you've done a good deed, you feel good about it, and then when you feel good, you have less anxiety. So if you've just come from doing a good deed or helping someone or being kind, and then you see a woman that you like, that you're attracted to, you feel more worthy, more valuable, more confident, more good about yourself when you go and talk to her. And of course, the conversation goes better. And it's no coincidence because you've just come from helping people, being kind. Even if it's a case where, you know, you were considerate and kind to a family member, these values are priceless, but they're easily overlooked. They're easily, yeah, whatever. It's easy to do that. It's human nature, right? We've all done it. But you practice these things regularly, you see a difference. So that's 8 ways that you can reduce social anxiety. Another way, um, number 9 for me, is about educating yourself. And the way that I've always done that is by listening to people that are smarter than me, more successful than me, sometimes got more experience, listening to them, learning from what I can learn from them. That's really important. And also, number 9, having the courage to own your insecurities and demons and work on them, which is kind of connects with all the points I've been making. That's really important as well. Um, number 10, Number 10 is to regularly clean your apartment. Again, it can sound like, what's he talking about? What's that got to do with being confident women? It's got everything to do with being confident women. It's got everything to do with everything we've connected on. If your place is messy and you're lazy and you don't fix the bed and you don't wash the dishes and you don't hoover your apartment and you don't tidy things up and you've got this sort of bad attitude, it's going to lower self-esteem. It's going to unconsciously, what you're saying is, I don't value where I live. I don't really value myself and other people. It's lack of self-respect. That's going to carry through in your whole life, in your conversations. So I found many years ago, because I used to have this tendency when I was young, because my anxiety, I wouldn't clean things because I didn't want to deal with stress. But that only made it worse. As I got older, I learned from that mistake. I corrected it. Now I'm a bit OCD when it comes to cleaning, but I rather be like that. It makes me feel good. So I clean regularly every day, the apartment and showering. So that's the 10 ways there. Those 10 things transform you. Like I said, gym, dieting, exercising, socializing, adding value, cleaning, improving your fashion, having a long-term goal. And it's just about getting goal orientated and working on these things, and all these different things will facilitate one another. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. You know, when you train regularly and you diet, it gives you a bit more confidence to work on your other insecurities. And when you work on those insecurities, like for me, if I can go back to my story to illustrate this point, back in the day when I had all these fears and insecurities, and a lot of my insecurities, I sort of focused them around not being able to talk to women and attract a girlfriend, which was true to a large degree. But then I started to realize that, well, this is just really a cause and a trigger of like self-esteem issues and insecurities and a lack of accountability, discipline everywhere in my life. So when I started doing public talks and going to events and really being brave, my confidence really started to shoot up. And then I felt so confident with speaking to a woman and asking her out, and also knowing that I can handle the rejection. It's going to affect me. I'm human, but it's not going to break me. I can accept it and still be confident because of doing public speaking and helping people. So it's like everything you do affects everything you do next. So, of course, if you went out, guys, and you challenged yourself and you did a bit of public speaking or a lot of it, of course, you're going to have more confidence when you're talking to women. But the question and challenge that I've got to ask all of you is, will you do these things? And it's not a judgment. I understand, because look, it depends on where you're at. I could tell you today that these things are easy if you're in the right mindset. There's times where all these things are easy for me. But I could also emphasize and really agree with you and say, at times it can be terrifying. It can be really challenging to do these things. It's life. We all experience that, but you have to really change your mindset and accept, if you don't do these things, life will be difficult anyway, more difficult. So you've got to come outside your comfort zone. And I'll give you an added bonus, number 11. If you want to reduce social anxiety with talking to women, going on dates, getting the relationship that you want, if that's the case, or just if even if you just said to me, look, Some of my clients say, I just want to feel comfortable around women. I just want to be confident and be able to have connections with them, make a friend, have a friendship. That's great. You gotta come outside your comfort zone. You're not gonna achieve confidence by being comfortable. Unfortunately, confidence, success, discipline, accountability, personal growth, mental health, changing your life, these things cannot possibly be achieved in comfort. I wish I could be wrong. I'd love to. It's not the truth. They can only be achieved by getting uncomfortable thousands of times. Now, of course, when you've been doing it for a long time, you can get to a point. I've got there so many times. I'm kind of there again, almost to a certain degree, where it becomes comfortable. But that's only because you've practiced so much and you built momentum. If you was to stop doing it for 6 months, it would get uncomfortable and scary again. So clue is in the title. If you want to reduce social anxiety, you've got to socialize regularly. Clues in the title: social anxiety, an anxiety around socializing. The only way to overcome it pretty much is to socialize and then to do other things that I've explained today, which, yes, many of the things that I've said are external things, challenges, but it's an internal practice too. It's both. When you go to the gym and you lift weights and you go to an external gym, you work on your spirit on the inside, whether you realize it or not. You're doing public talks and you're helping people. You're working on the inside, and that's really true confidence is on the inside. It's not based on what other people think about you, what they say about you, although that can affect confidence depending on where you're at. But generally, it's you. You make yourself confident. So effectively, I don't make my clients confident. They make themselves confident, but I help them. I give them the help and the support to facilitate goal setting, accountability. I guess, yeah, a form of counseling, even though I don't call it myself a counselor, but it is counseling. It is fellowship. It is sitting and talking and conversing, allowing them to get their stresses out and then giving them a plan of strategy, plan of action. I help them to help themselves. And that's the best thing you can do for someone. So it's really down to the individual um, to make these changes. And I've said it before, when you really get down to it, with regards to being successful with all this, it comes down to how bad you want it. How committed are you? Because if you're not committed, then there's nothing that I can really say to change your mind and change your heart. So you got to have that commitment, and I can't give you commitment. You got to find it yourself. But everyone can do it if they really want to do it. And as I said, there's two ways to do it. You do it on your own, which is great if you can do that, and you can do it if you really put your mind to it. But most people will fail on their own. They won't be able to do it without a mentor. And any smart, successful person will tell you that they couldn't have got to where they got to without mentors. Neither could I. I wouldn't have got here without mentors at some stage. Everybody needs a mentor. Mike Tyson had a mentor. Tyson Fury's got mentors. Myself, I've had several mentors in my life, 3 or 4 off the top of my head. So smart people get mentors. Be straight. In my opinion, unintelligent people don't get mentors. It's not because I'm not saying that they're not smart entirely, but they don't have the understanding. They lack education. They're not educated on the value of what a mentor can do, and invest in a mentorship program or a coach or a weekend program or an event or a live stream in this case. So mentors help you to reduce your social anxiety with talking to women and life in general. So that's it today, guys. I pretty much covered everything. That pretty brilliant within an hour. Actually helped today making some notes. Usually I can do these talks without any notes, but it just helped me to highlight key points. Any last questions, guys? I'm going to wrap this up soon. I feel like I got enough out. Then ask me a question and I'll answer it. Just finally, to let you guys know, it's a bit short notice, but I still believe better late than never. I've got a weekend confidence program this weekend in London, specifically for guys that want to overcome social anxiety. We're talking to women, building honest connections, getting a girlfriend, having more confidence. And I've got a space available. I've got 2 clients that are booked. We're going to have a great weekend. So if you would like to come on the program, there's a space left. Send me an email. Today is obviously Wednesday. It's Saturday. It's this Saturday and Sunday, so you can still make it. It's not too short notice for me because the program's going ahead, and I've got 2 clients booked on it, which I'm really looking forward to. We're gonna have a great weekend. We have a great support with guys. It's just such a good weekend. So if any of you want to come on, some of you might see this stream later today or tomorrow. Don't worry, you still got time. Look, you could come on it a day before as long as you gave me 24 hours notice. I'm understanding about that because I'm like that sometimes. I can be, um, is it impulsive? I can make a decision close to the time that I want to go and do something. So there's my email. If you want to come on the program, let me know. Regarding that question, Miguel, I think that's just something that you have to overcome. You have to face. That's really the only way to overcome it. But to make things a bit easier, I don't know if you were on the live stream today throughout the whole time. If you work on yourself, your confidence, you will overcome, that problem that you got, the fear of what around you. That really does come down again to what people think about you. So it's working on what you think about you. I think public speaking will help with these. I know it will help actually going to events. If you've got this fear of people around you, then you've got to practice being around people and talking. So it's really changing your mindset. But maybe think about doing a confidence coaching program to get you some help if you can't do this on your own. That's my advice to anyone. A lot of people, I get it, but I don't agree. You know, they've been stuck in a situation for many years, but they won't get help and they don't change it. If you've been watching a channel for a long time or following anyone else and your anxiety isn't going, the social anxiety, then do something about it because you're just wasting time. Uh, how do I feel about improv classes? I feel great about them. I love them. I've always loved those classes and groups. I've said it on this channel. So yeah, one of my clients, Phil, who's doing my 1 year program, he goes to those and it's helped him a lot. And that was actually one of the reasons why I accepted him on my 1 year program because he was so committed to facing his social fears and going to these groups that I knew that I could help him. I knew that we could work well together. We work great together. So yeah, couldn't recommend them enough. 10 out of 10, because they teach you, how to speak, how to improvise. You're around people. It's Look, anyone could benefit from that, but especially the audience on this channel who has anxiety, and they helped me starting out. And I run groups myself. Um, Speaking of improv, you know, today when you see me talking, guys, this is all improvisation. From honesty, from experience. No, I wouldn't say that's true. I see your point, but I don't think you don't stop getting socially anxious after 50 rejections. But I see what you're saying. Yes, if you can go through 50 rejections with talking to people, then it depends on your mindset. It depends on who you are. That could break some people. Some people are quite vulnerable, so it really depends on the person. So I can't really give you. There's not really an indefinite answer, but I see where you're coming from. The premise is yes, if you face your fears more, you will gain more confidence, and that goes for like selling, public speaking. If you've come onto this stream today, I kind of finished the talk, but I'll answer some questions. It's been a great talk today. I've covered like 10, 11 ways that you can reduce social anxiety with speaking to women, dating, building relationships, and just people in general. And I've gone through all of my 10 best ways, which are mostly around changing your lifestyle, exercising, socializing, eating a healthier diet, having a long-term goal, public speaking, changing your fashion, being honest in your communication and respectful, whoever you're talking to, especially if you're talking to a woman that you're attracted to, that comes across really well. You build better relationships. Um, working on discipline, simple habits like cleaning your apartment. Um, yeah, they're most of the things that I've covered. Like I've said, to anyone that's been following me for a long time, I appreciate it. But for any of you that are not making any progress and you've tried maybe for months or years, get in touch for coaching because it's going to get you results quicker. The longer you're leaving this, the more it's costing you anyway. It's costing the support, the groups, and everything else. Yeah, I have wrote an article about this. I'm going to post it soon so you guys can read it. It really does highlight most of the points I've mentioned today. So you can join my newsletter, Instagram, and I'll put it up on the community section. I've just got to edit the grammar, but I wrote it out today. Um, but yeah, appreciate all the support, man. It's been great, and look forward to seeing some of you on my events that are coming up and more of the videos. But yeah, I think that will be it for today. I'll give it a few more minutes, get some last couple of questions in, and then we're going to finish. I aim to do an hour today, so we're close to it. Yeah, I would say to anyone listening, just so you don't get overwhelmed, you don't have to do all of the 10 things straight away, but just try and start off with one or two. I would say the best advice I give anyone to start with is go gym first, exercise, and start socializing more, get more social with everybody. Look, I make a point of saying, if you want to be less anxious around women and more confident, you've got to be more social with people. If you're social with your friends, more family, community, people from day to day, as much as you can, possibly. I know it's not easy for everyone in the times we're living in, but the more social you are, the more confident you're going to be when you're around women, because this is a people problem. It's a social skill, it's an anxiety problem with getting more confident, and it's a skill that you develop. I think it's not a given just to be able to speak to people. It used to be when I was younger, but the times we're living in now, it's the skill is even more valuable in my opinion. That's why I think my coaching is even more valuable what I teach, because in the time of today with technology and everybody hooked on the machines, social skills are I'm not saying for everyone, but on a large scale are deteriorating, and social anxiety is on the increase. Right. Okay. No more questions, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to wrap it up. It was a great talk today. I'm going to be doing, obviously, I always do more streams, but yeah, thanks. Any questions that I couldn't get to, send me an email. I'll try and get to your question or comment underneath my videos. But yeah, appreciate all the support. And I know this information will help a lot of people. It's solid stuff. All right. Bye.